Have you ever felt guilty of growing? Have you ever sensed that the more you healed, learned, matured, and pursued your purpose, the more uncomfortable certain people become? At first, you couldn't understand it. These were your friends, the people who laughed with you, the people who knew your struggles, the people who stood beside you during difficult seasons. But then something changed. Yes. Or perhaps they didn't change. Perhaps you did. And suddenly the people who were supposed to support your growth became the very people resisting it. What happens when the people closest to you become a ceiling instead of a support system? Today we are going to explore one of the most uncomfortable truths of personal and spiritual growth. Not everyone who walked with you into one season is assigned to walk with you into the next. Welcome to Marilyn Odyssey, a channel dedicated to life wisdom, spiritual growth, and meaningful conversations about purpose, personal transformation, and understanding life experiences. Come, join this journey with me. Let's step into today's conversation. There is something powerful about having good friends. True friends encourage you, challenge you, pray for you, celebrate your victories, stand beside you in difficult at times. A healthy friendship acts like a ladder. It helps you climb higher. But not every friendship remains healthy. Some friendships quietly transform into ceilings. Instead of helping you rise, they limit how high you can go. A ceiling doesn't always look like opposition. Sometimes it looks like subtle discouragement. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like jokes. Sometimes it looks like criticism disguised as concern. The moment you begin dreaming bigger, the moment you begin healing emotionally, the moment you begin growing spiritually, the moment you begin pursuing God's purpose, you notice a shift. The support becomes less enthusiastic. The encouragement becomes less frequent. The criticism becomes more noticeable. And the resistance becomes more obvious. Why is this? Because your growth is forcing people to confront areas where they have chosen comfort. Not everyone is inspired by growth. Some people are threatened by it. Here is a relatable example. Imagine a woman who decides to improve her life. She starts reading more. She spends time in prayer. She begins setting healthy boundaries. She starts a business. She launches a YouTube channel. She invests in personal development. Suddenly, her friends start saying, "You're acting different. You've changed. You think you're better than us now." But what really happened? She didn't become arrogant. She became intentional. And intentional people often make comfortable people uncomfortable. Another relatable example is this. Imagine a man who decides he wants more from life. He returns to school. He improves his finances. He becomes disciplined. He starts exercising. He stops participating in unhealthy habits like drinking or smoking. His friends begin mocking him. They're going to say things like, "Look at Mr. Successful. You think you're special now? We miss the old you." What they're really saying is, we were comfortable with the version of you that made us comfortable. That is so true. Here is a test that I call the ceiling test, meaning this is a test that you could use to see whether your friends has become a ceiling. So here is the ceiling test. Ask yourself these questions. 1. Do my friends celebrate my wins or compete with them? Do they encourage my growth or criticize my purpose? Do I feel inspired about spending time with them, or do I feel emotionally drained? Can I talk openly with them about my dreams, or do I feel pressure to shrink them? Do they challenge me towards purpose, or keep me attached to comfort? Your answers to these questions may reveal whether you're standing under a support system or under a ceiling. Here is the spiritual reality. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that growth creates separation. Not because you're better than anyone, but because movement creates distance. When an eagle begins to soar, it naturally leaves the altitude where chickens are comfortable. The eagle isn't rejecting the chickens. It's simply operating in the environment it was created for. Many people and many believers struggle because they confuse loyalty with assignment. Loyalty is important, but loyalty should never require disobedience to God. If maintaining a friendship requires you to suppress your gifts, ignore your callings, or abandon your purpose, then that friendship is no longer helping you fulfill God's plan. God never intended relationships to become caves. Relationships were meant to be catalysts for growth. Here is the self-inspection segment of this video. You can get a paper and pen and pause the video as needed to write down the information that is being asked of you in this section. So take a moment and reflect. The first question is, who in your life encourages your growth? Number 2, who celebrates your healing? Number 3, who supports your purpose? Number 4, who genuinely wants you to see you succeed? Now ask yourself another question. Who would benefit when you stay small? Who becomes uncomfortable when you shine? Who subtly pressures you to remain the person you used to be? My friends, these questions may reveal why you felt stuck. Because sometimes the greatest limitation in our lives isn't a lack of opportunity. It's the invisible ceiling we've accepted over our lives. I hope that you did this self-inspection segment, because after doing this, it is supposed to bring some clarity as to which of your friends has become a ceiling and which are indeed your support system. In closing, let me say, the right people wouldn't fear your growth. They wouldn't resent your success. They wouldn't compete with your calling. And I personally could say that I've encountered many supposedly friends who competed with me on many occasions with regards to my calling. And it's not an easy thing to experience. It's very painful. The right friend wouldn't require you to shrink. The right people will thank God for your progress. They will pray for your future. They will celebrate your victories. And when God opens a new door, they wouldn't stand in front of it. Think about that. They will help you walk through it. My friends, never forget this. A true support system helps you reach the ceiling. A toxic relationship becomes the ceiling. And God did not create you to live beneath limits He never placed over your life. So if this message spoke to you, type in the comments, I refuse to live beneath a ceiling. And while you're here, tell us, what is one relationship lesson God has taught you through your personal growth journey? And I encourage you to share this video with someone who may be struggling to distinguish between a support system and a ceiling. Because restoration begins when we honestly examine what and who is influencing our lives. If you enjoy thoughtful conversations about life, wisdom, and personal growth, make sure to subscribe, join the community, and explore the videos on this channel. And as you watch, I invite you to reflect on one simple question: what is life trying to teach you right now? This is Marilyn Myers' Odyssey, where every conversation is part of the journey. More love, more light.